everybody. Welcome to another episode of Biters. This is Diane, hailing from the land of 18 below.
Reunited, and it feels so good. As always, your zombified 30-something Brian reuniting for what seems like a giant hiatus we've had. We've been dodging each other's schedules here.
Well, may I just say, you look adorable.
Aren't you, dear? So what's up?
Not much.
I'm doing all right. I'm adjusting. We're getting there. It's always fun.
For those who have not been following, and I hope you all have, we're making a reference to Princess Rey.
Yes. Well, my little girl, Layla Ray, almost got a full Star Wars name in there. I was going for Leia and Ray, but I got shot down on the full Star Wars name, but we almost got there, so that's important. She will always be called Ray from her dad.
That's cool. That's very cool.
So
well, we're just freezing here, man. It's just cold. And I got an email from somebody this morning, and they said it was 47 below at their house in Fairbanks. So,
gross.
Yeah,
it
that's
was 50
what I think.
Here today. We had snow for one day. It was about a half an inch, and then it was gone. So I like global warming. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I've always said to people, if you want to know about global warming, talk to a musher in Alaska. But this year, it looks like we may actually have some snow. Who knows? It could rain in a week, and this could all go away. So, but right now, it's really freaking cold.
Or you could ask the people of Hawaii who have 3 feet of snow up on the Big Island.
Right. Good skiing there.
No kidding. So, sing me a song, young lady.
I know. We're a week away from the mid-season finale, which is kind of crazy.
This season for me has drug on a little bit longer.
Really? It's flown for me, but maybe it's just because of the way that we've been kind of divvying up the podcasting. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it could be. For me, it feels like it's about the time for a break.
Does it?
We got a little bit of a late start. If you kind of think back, we're usually done at the beginning of December. Before it hits, because they pushed the date back 2 weeks because of the Olympics and stuff. So that's giving us 2 weeks into December, which usually we're done right at December. So it feels about right to be done now.
And do you know what the date for the second half of the season is? I haven't looked that far yet.
It's usually the weekend after the Super Bowl.
Okay. That's a good way to remember it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I always figured out. It just seems to work that way better.
And I think Marnell and I are going to try to finalize our first episode, or our first season of the Preacher podcast during the hiatus. So
Yay!
We have not been very good at that. Oh my God. And you and I have Preacher stuff to talk about. Not that anyone listening to this cares.
I've been waiting for 6 months.
So, sing me a song. I'm going to tell you I liked it. I probably didn't like it quite as much as I did last week. I really liked Swear quite a bit. I gave it 4 out of 5 traitorous baby Judiths.
Oh, that's true. That is very true. She was being a little deviant. Oh, look, it's my new daddy. Yay.
Oh my God, she was totally snuggled up to Negan there at the end.
Yeah. Well, I also rated it 4 murderous stepdads out of 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I swear to God, Armageddon is nigh.
Yeah, it was nice. I think if it would have been a 60-minute episode, I definitely would have rated it different.
Yeah.
Would
you have rated it higher or lower?
I would have rated it lower.
Yeah.
I didn't think it really had a lot of meat and potatoes, but I think I recorded it. I DVR'd it. Hey, there's my kid in the background who's getting mad. Just try a different game, pal. There we go. See, this is how we do this here. We record. We have families. We got to do this stuff no matter what.
I was going to say, I totally feel like you're making up for all of those dogs in the background for me.
I'm going to say, your fur babies will be barking away here pretty soon.
Pretty shortly.
It just it didn't have a lot of meat and potatoes to it. I was watching it through the DVR last night at like midnight, 1 a.m. So I think that helped a little bit too. I think that contributed to me liking it more because I didn't have to wait through the commercials.
Right.
I was able to kind of pound right through them. So that was really nice. I like that. but it had a good flow. It had a good beginning, it had a good middle, and it had a good end. Lots of things were accomplished, lots of things were addressed, and then it sets you up for a good cliffhanger coming up. Like you cannot wait to see what happened when Rick gets back.
That's exactly the way I felt because it wasn't like this amazing standout episode like The Grove. I mean, a lot of people always go back to The Grove or Clear when they think about amazing episodes, but it just was really good. It was solid. There was good storytelling. There were some great moments. Yeah, I really liked it too. I liked it a lot.
Awesome. Well, what are we going to talk about then?
Well, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna like tow you back in line and do all the stuff that you and Marnell never
Oh,
do.
yeah.
So I'll start you with the numbers because I know that really excites you. Um, so interestingly enough, Swear, which I had said that I really, really liked, it had the lowest rating of a Walking Dead episode in 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah. It's still dominated in the 18 to 49 bracket. But if you looked at just the overall broadcast numbers for same day viewing, Monday Night Football actually topped for the week of the 21st through the 27th, actually topped The Walking Dead, so it came in second.
Oh,
Yeah, Monday Night Football, same day views, 11.7 million, Walking Dead, 10.4 million.
Monday or Sunday Night Football?
No, it actually said Monday Night Football. So I was like,
Okay.
how does that work? And then they were really looking at where each show ranked in the entire week of the 21st through
Gotcha.
the
Okay.
27th.
Well, one thing that I'm kind of one thing that I'm interested in seeing is the NFL does what's called flex scheduling.
Mm-hmm.
So what they do is 2 to 3 weeks out, they will change the Sunday night game. As the season goes on, teams are better or worse than anticipated.
Oh.
They adjust the scheduling.
So as they adjust scheduling, there will be more interest potentially in the NFL games because of the way that they're flexing the games.
Right. So the season finale will be up against a flexed game. So it was flexed 2 weeks ago for interest. So it'll be
Okay.
really curious to see what next week's numbers are, even as a season finale, to see where it ranks in live viewing because they're flexing a really good football game there. So
And
we'll see.
the article that I read at TV by the Numbers did make the point of saying that they were toppled by the NFL, you know? Although it is interesting, even with the numbers being better overall, the viewership was still higher in the 18 to 49 bracket, which of course they're looking for because of disposable income.
Yep,
Although I don't know
you
if that
betcha.
really holds true anymore or not. um Let's see what else. Swear still did have really good numbers in the Live Plus 3. It's too early for Live Plus 7. And it actually ended up being the top when you took Live Plus 3 into account. So it had a total of 14.3 million viewers in Live Plus 3. And the numbers from Monday Night Football didn't change because, apparently most people were watching live. That makes sense. And not
Sure.
DVRing the game. So I actually think that the mid-season finale is going to be up. I think we'll see that typical spike that we usually see with a premiere and with a finale. So I'll be surprised if it's as low as Swear was.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that low, but I would anticipate it being one of the lower mid-season finales,
I do
just
too.
because I mean, we're in our seventh season, so it's going to be a little lower, a
Right.
little longer. But I think the NFL flex scheduling will take a hit on a live viewing because I'm a live plus three right now. I've
And
been a live plus three guy for a while,
I'm hit or miss in terms of live or Live Plus 3. It depends on my work schedule.
or
And
pirated. Do they have a rating for pirated?
they don't. I imagine that's pretty high. And and Marnell, because her cable carrier doesn't have it, she's always a Live Plus 3
Yep.
because she gets it through iTunes. So, which I still can't believe the epic fail of GCI in Alaska getting rid of AMC. Hello.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I think the numbers are going to be interesting, and I just have to remind myself, like I did with Marnell the last time that we podcasted, you know, 10.4 million viewers is still amazing.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know,
It's
I mean, it's
huge.
still so much bigger than like the next television show down if you're just looking at a broadcast series, you know?
Hmm.
So, anyway, those are the numbers. Sing me a song. So, I clearly thought that it came from Carl singing to Negan. I don't know if you saw anything deeper in terms of the title.
No, I think that was pretty straightforward because that was kind of Carl's breaking point. That was
Yes.
Carl's most uncomfortable moment there, where Carl didn't want to do it because he was nervous, he was scared. He didn't know if he was going to sing it right. He didn't know why. He didn't know what he was going to sing.
Yeah.
And then he wound up singing something of his mom's, and then it just made it even worse. So, you know,
I,
whole bunch of goodness. I
I felt
didn't
like,
know
oh, go
if
ahead.
he had sung to Judith or not, though. That was one thing I was trying to hear if he was singing to Judith, because then that
Oh.
would have been pretty cool. Where if he was sing, if so, here may be a bold prediction. If Negan is singing "You Are My Sunshine"
Oh.
to Judith when Rick walks up, talk about kicking the ball sack.
Oh yeah, no kidding. That
And
would
if
be
he does it, like, isn't this the song your wife used to sing to your
mm,
kids? I figured I'd do it since she's not here anymore.
that would
Just
be a perfect moment.
oh. Giddy up.
I hope that there's a writer who was listening to your brain before you even formulated that idea because that's
Go
cool.
back and film it over.
Yeah. Well, and I felt like some big stuff was happening there. So I felt like Carl was letting Negan see a part of himself that no one's seen and like giving a memory away to Negan, and that was really horrible. But I also felt like he was clearly pleading for his life,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know?
Because he started
So,
swinging the bat and it was making him really
right,
uncomfortable and he was scared. And I think that's kind of the whole point. So that's where kind of sing me a song. I think that it
right.
went beyond just him singing a song. I think that was Carl's breaking moment.
I agree. I agree. And there was an article on Huffington Post about how this was the big moment of humanizing Negan. I don't know. I mean, I think it just played into him being the sick, perverted individual that we all have grown to know and love, or we are growing to know and love.
Well, I will talk about that in just a few moments.
Excellent. So, I
Do
did
you have a
want to
cast
just,
member?
of course, I do.
Of course.
So, just really briefly, the director was a woman named Rosemary Rodriguez. I didn't recognize her name, and her IMDb list was really, really tiny. But she's had work on Jessica Jones, which
Mm.
I love Jessica Jones, and she's had work on The Good Wife, which has great reviews. It's just not the type of TV that I watch. And then a show called Silver Skies.
Never seen it.
Yeah, me either. And then writers Angela Kang, who we've talked about multiple times because she's a repeat writer, and then a guy named Corey Reed, who has Walking Dead credits, Medium, and Da Vinci's Demons. And again, I've never really watched Da Vinci's Demons. I've caught Medium a couple of times, and they both have pretty good followings. So interesting.
Sure.
But the featured cast, the person I actually wanted to talk about was Cindy from last week because I loved her. I thought she was great.
Really?
Yeah, I really did. And I really think and hope that she's going to end up being someone that we'll see again.
Hmm.
Um, so when I first saw her, especially in that oceanside setting, I thought, oh, wow, they found an Asian Pacific Islander actress and she's really gorgeous and blah, 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 blah. Well, it turns out she's black and Korean.
So she is not there then.
So I just thought that was really interesting because I really thought that they picked her because she looked like an Asian Pacific Islander. Um, she's got an interesting history. So she's a baby. She was born on Halloween. She's 19 years old. She had her first debut as a comedian at the Hollywood Improv at the age of 6.
Really?
Really? She's been on The Tonight Show. She actually did a comedy bit on The Tonight Show at the age of 8.
Hmm.
And she's had parts in shows like That's So Raven and Entourage.
She's
So,
been busy.
yeah, so she's kind of been out there, and especially for a 19-year-old, but it'll be interesting to see if Walking Dead develops into something for her. I think it probably will.
No.
I think you and
You think
Marnell are,
so?
yeah, I think we'll see Oceanside again, don't you?
Well, yeah, we will. I don't think it'll be a long-term part. I think she'll have a run of 6 episodes that she'll be in, and they'll either go into exile or be killed at some point.
Huh. Well, my bold prediction is that she's going to become a part of the main group.
Interesting. Because she's a sharpshooter.
Because she's a sharpshooter, because she's different from the people that she's living with. She sees the world a little bit differently. She may decide that Oceanside is not her home.
Sure.
So there you go. All
Lickety
right.
blam.
So let's get into this. What do you have as your good?
You mean my epic?
Your epic. I'm sorry. See?
Jeez.
God.
Cheating on me
I'm
already.
totally cheating on you.
My epic is Negan showing that he can have two sides, a caring side and a ruthless side. So I thought it was all kind of BS for a while. He's got Carl, he's going to do this. And he's like, come on,
Right.
kid, because he sees long-term value in it. But I think it's all, he doesn't care. He knows it'll just drive Rick up a wall. So I think when he is, when Carl starts crying because he's picking on him, he kind of
Uh-huh.
realizes that, damn, I am like legit sorry right now. I'm sorry. Let's take a different approach. He tried to make him too hard too fast.
Right. When he's like, geez, kid, it's hard to remember. I forget you're still a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that is his human side being like, I'm sorry. Let me kind of dial this back. Now, if you kind of mirror that with they killed everybody over the age of 10 in Oceanside, it's a little bit different. You're kind of saying, well, wait a second now. Why is he being nice to Carl, but they've murdered all the other people that have been there? So I think that's kind of where it comes into he's really going to focus and be a friend to Carl and really kind of turn that I'm cooler than your dad. He's that stepdad who doesn't like the original father
Right.
and is going to be cooler than the dad.
Well, when he says to Carl, this is stuff your dad should be talking to you about.
Yep.
I mean, he really does kind of set himself up in that role. And I really think that he sees him. I think he sees Carl in himself when he teases him about being a future little serial killer. You know,
Yeah,
he sees a little Negan.
absolutely. Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's like if, the comic books weren't around and all this stuff, like at this point, I would think that would be a reasonable response is that he is going to try and make little Negan here and use him and develop him as a king and a prince. He is the heir to my throne. So, start watching out. I am number one. He is number two as of right now. He outranks everybody here but me.
Well, and I think Carl is really conflicted. I mean, I think Carl gets some of that. I think that maybe he does see that he would be kind of the prince and heir, and he's a little bit conflicted about that.
Well, sure. I mean, if you think about it, Carl has always responded better to Shane than he did Rick.
Right.
Shane was taking him out how to catch frogs, kill frogs, shoot, hunt, do dude type stuff,
Uh-huh.
you know? And then you kind of contrast that with Rick, and we're going to be nice all the time. We're going to garden. We're going to do the right thing at the right time because that's what we need in this world. Where Negan's like, F that. Here's how you either take or be took. And I am going to show you how to take and not be took because I am going to show you what real power looks like.
Well, and also, he kind of gets down to the level of a, 12, 13, 14-year-old boy. Yeah, look at their tits. And, of
Mm-hmm.
course I would want all of these women. Why have just one when I can have all of them? And, I mean, he's really kind of playing to Carl as almost a grown-up. And
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
hooking Carl in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what's yours?
Well, mine is somewhat similar, and we talked about this a little bit before we logged on today or signed on today, but for me it was really just all of those moments that were really ripped from the comic books. It was really cool. And a lot of the stuff that you talked about, you're like reading that off the page. I mean, all of those moments where, he's kind of making the snide comments about the wives, and he says to Carl, oh man, that's so ugly, that's so horrible, can I touch it? When he's talking about Carl's eye
Sure.
socket. All of those moments are so perfectly recreated from the comics. And, I know that we've talked about not everybody who listens to the podcast reads the comics anymore, that there were probably some people who kind of jumped off around 100.
Yep, myself included.
And I've said I'm not caught up, but I'm further ahead than that. It's just cool. I like seeing stuff like that come to life. I was telling you that I was the person who was like, X-Men!
Yeah.
Because I read the X-Men when I was a teenager and loved them. So it's just cool. I like the nod to the books. I like seeing stuff like that come to life. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is not the person who I pictured as Negan, but he has captured him so well that I just continue to really enjoy it. He's so gleeful. I know I keep
Yeah.
using that word, but he enjoys himself so
Yeah,
much.
he's got that sadistic
Yeah.
happiness.
And it really doesn't matter if he's doing something fun or if he's doing something horrible. He's enjoying it regardless.
That's right.
I almost wish I could go through life like that.
So what do you got for a fail?
So my fail, and I kind of have to preface this by saying it's not a fail for the series. It's not a fail for the writers.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
is, and that's well. Let's take a timeout. We might have picked up some new viewers, or people might have forgot that our fails and epic fails aren't what we disagree with. It's just what we personally got either agitated, angry, or upset with. We
mhm.
may not just like a character. If you listen to Fear the Walking Dead,
Oh
Madison was my
God.
fail every time. But it's what we personally want, not a beef we have with anybody or a wish that we had. It's just what we personally wish we would have
Yeah,
seen.
I agree. And that's a little bit different from the tone that Biters originally had, because I really do feel like going way back that Kirk and Jeff were really looking for, their bad, for example, was usually, oh, this piece of cinematography didn't fit, or that, failure to suspend disbelief or whatever. Anyway, so I agree. I mean, my stuff tends to be a little more organic, like this is what's going on in the series and this is what really bugged me, or I didn't like this about this. So
Sure.
yeah, that's how I kind of wanted to preface it. Anyway, Spencer, what a douche.
Oh my God. So he is
He
in
was
my
so
potpourri.
horrible.
Can he just die already for crying out loud?
Well, so here's my thing. I want to ask you for a bold prediction. Is he
Okay.
going to die or is he going to become a savior? Because I don't really see any in between. I don't see that he's going to be redeemed for Alexandria.
So here's my call. Here's my bold prediction. Hi, buddy. He wanted to say hi to me.
Hey, baby.
Um, so here's my bold prediction for Spencer because I had this in my rotten potpourri because he was actually my fail, but I swapped him out.
Oh, right on.
So my bold prediction is kind of right in between.
Yeah.
Spencer makes a move to set Rick up to get Lucille, but it backfires. He gets caught
And he gets it instead?
and he gets it instead because Negan is for the rules. And whether you're a traitor inside of that, if
Oh.
you're a traitor inside of my world, or even if you're a traitor in that world, you cannot be trusted.
That's a really good point.
I,
Because,
even though, yep. So you go set Rick up,
yeah.
you get busted, and then, or he's like, yeah, I did it. I did it for you.
Oh, man, I
Wait
think
a
you are
minute.
exactly right. I think he's going to say, I don't care if you think you were working for me. You betrayed the person you're supposed to be helping, and that's against the rules. I
Yep,
think you're right.
because you're not falling in line. I need you to follow Rick so Rick can produce for me. And if
Yep.
you don't follow Rick, Rick can't produce. Therefore, I am going to make an example for Rick out of you that everybody here better follow the rules that Rick sets forth that are channeled through me.
And that would actually be kind of satisfying. I wouldn't mind seeing Spencer meet Lucille.
Oh, God.
Especially because he won't frickin' leave Rosita alone. She has one bad one night stand, and now he just won't go away.
I know it is very, very, very frustrating.
And props to Father Gabriel. I know a lot of other people are thinking this, but I just loved that he was like, stop the car,
Yeah.
and totally
Slow
called him
roll,
on it.
pal.
Yeah. And just, I love the fact that he completely called him on his behavior and told him he was a tremendous shit. Was really
Yes.
great.
Um, so my fail was Daryl in this episode. And it
Yeah.
wasn't anything he did. It was the one line when they are packing up, they're taking the trucks to Alexandria, and Daryl looks at Negan and says, if you do anything to him, that's it, we're done. And it's just like, why, Daryl? Why? Why did you have to do that to me? Because you know better than that. You know. And I get it. He's trying to, ooh, if you do anything, you're not going to do anything. I can literally order 500 people to skin you alive. You're not going to do anything. Shut up.
Yep.
And that's the thing that just really pissed me off was that why did you even say anything? It's, to me, it was a forced line that they said we need to have Daryl say something.
Yeah, I've got to tell you, Daryl and Rick both are so broken right now that I agree. I think having that come out of Daryl, yeah. I mean, maybe it was spontaneous, and maybe he would have even thought a bit to verbalize it. I agree. I think that was lame.
What you brought up a point. You brought up a point.
Yeah.
We were kind of talking about it earlier. Go ahead with it.
So, my husband and I were talking about the episode and talking about Daryl and just the idea that this episode was pretty much taken out of a comic book. I mean, this really was pretty true to the whole comic book story, but Daryl didn't have a part in that because Daryl doesn't exist in the comic books. So I kind of feel like the writers were trying to figure out how to be true to this episode of the comic or issue of the comic and still plug Daryl in. And so maybe that's why those moments of bravado felt weird and didn't fit.
I think so. And I think that's a terrific point is that they need to remind people that he is there. But on the other note is Daryl is a peon and that's the way he is. So he really shouldn't be in any of it.
Right.
You know?
He's filthy, he's greasy, he's
Mopping
now
up piss.
mopping up piss. And for him to like issue some sort of threat against Negan at this point, it's like, really? Okay, we all suspect there's probably something brewing for Daryl, but not right now. He's not going to show his cards right now if he's smart.
Well, who knows? He did get slid a key.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. Which is coming up in Rotten Potpourri.
So, my epic fail, I didn't really have an epic fail, but I have a question for you which kind of plays into that. So, are you going to bail on me now that Negan's confirmed for season 8?
So here's the thing. I seen what your sister posted, and I'm like, of freaking course. Here's the caveat to that. If he is in the jail cell that Morgan has built, that's different.
Okay.
That's different.
So it's if we're stringing along the current storyline.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Like, he cannot be this big protagonist villain in his giant savior compound for 2 years, like the governor was. Enough. So if he is in jail and they've dismantled that part and they just got Negan in that cell that Morgan built, that's different because we're going to keep going on now. So we'll see. We'll see.
No solid commitment one way or another, but a little bit of a caveat. Okay, I like the wiggle room. That's good. What do you have?
My epic fail was Rosita's push for the bullet.
Okay.
It felt like to me, it was very aggravating to hear her saying and doing all these things, especially to Eugene, to get one bullet. To me, it was reminded of like when it's an impossible task, Rosita. And the fact that you don't understand that at this point is excruciatingly aggravating. That I'm just going to do it. Give me one bullet. It's all I need. It's all I need. One bullet, and I'm going to do this, and this is how it's going to be. Stop. And even Eugene's like, I don't disagree with what you're trying to do, but we need to slow our roll a little bit and think this through and plan it out a little bit better. And she's like, nope, just give me the bullet. Whatever.
So that actually leads perfectly into rotting potpourri because one of the things that I wrote down was I'm actually really worried about Rosita. I think her single mindedness is understandable, but I think that she's going to ultimately create some trouble for herself. I mean, somehow or another, she may end up meeting Lucille ultimately.
Yeah, that's very possible. Um, who knows?
I
I think
just,
that could. So okay,
yeah.
Pu rotten potpourri. Pu. Um, I think that it could go either way. I don't think she's going to get Billy clubbed, but they do need to club a woman to be equal. I
Somewhat.
mean,
And,
it's 2016 now. Come
yeah.
on.
Well, okay, I'm not going to go there, man.
um, so like I could see it, but so here's the thing. She doesn't have a purpose or a place anymore.
No, she's going to
She
have to
doesn't
find one.
she's gonna have to find a home. She's not with
Yeah.
Spencer anymore. She's not with Sasha or Maggie anymore, but she is kind of the medic of the place now, still kind of,
Oh, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I didn't
you
think
know,
about that.
so she's kind of riding that pine a little bit, but her whole identity was with Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
That was her identity. Now she's out. Not saying you can't change it because Carol sure did, but she doesn't have a home anymore. And when characters don't have a home, that usually means they're going to be gone.
Although, and this just totally came up for me probably because I was thinking about swear earlier this podcast, but maybe the answer is she doesn't have a home at Alexandria anymore.
Maybe she is, maybe she leaves. I was thinking maybe she was going to wind up being a forced wife.
Oh, ew. But she doesn't have anyone to hold out for her. I mean, we're looking at the motivation of the other wives, right? And Shelley's got Dwight that his well-being is the reason she's agreed to be a wife. I can't remember the name. Amber has Mark's well-being to think of, although they apparently didn't think very long and hard on that earlier. So who is she holding out for? Maybe she'll be a forced wife and protect Eugene because that's the person she's still got the biggest attachment to.
But see, I think she might be dead. She might
Yeah.
get caught.
Although she would fit really well in Oceanside. Maybe it'd be a swap for her and Cindy.
I think at some point we're going to move past all the other towns again.
You think so? I kind of think that's the bigger deal. I think we're going to see more and more of those. I think we may actually see a fade of the main group and see more and more of those towns.
So I was thinking that um, this will be next season would be the third full season in the same place,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to move. You
Mm-hmm.
can't do this forever. You can't. It doesn't work. You cannot. The Walking Dead cannot live in Alexandria forever. Can't.
So, do you think a reasonable compromise is splintering off between all of the different communities?
I think they're all going to get destroyed
Do ya?
in some way, shape, or form. I think they're all going to burn,
Hmm.
and then that puts them back on the road again
But
with a.
can you be on the road forever though? I mean, that gets boring too. Like,
So we all think. So here's a way to look at it. We all think that all the towns are going to merge together in one triumphant charge. Holy crap! Check this out. We think they're all going to go in one triumphant charge to the Savior compound and raid it. You know, a 3 city, 4 city attack on the
mm-hmm.
compound. What if that's in the plans? Spencer goes, "Oh, hell no, watch this." Runs to Negan and says, "Hey, guess what? They're all going to unite. All 3 of these towns, 4 of these towns are going to unite against you, and they're going to raid the compound in 3 days." Oh, bull hell they are. And then the saviors raid the towns. As they raid the towns, it's this big battle. Everybody burns. And then, whatever happens, who knows? Maybe that's how this all ends and that's how they move on. Because
Yeah,
you would kill off a lot of characters that way. That's what we did in the prison. That's how a lot of things end. Is it's in one battle that kills a bunch of people off, and then you move on to the next spot.
So
That would blow up my Negan jail theory, but
my first thought is, and I know this goes back to the comics versus not comics conversation we were having earlier, but are they going to deviate that hard from the source material? Possibly, because they certainly have in other episodes and other seasons. Um, the other thought that I have is, boy, if that son of a bitch Spencer does that, I really hope he gets billy clubbed in front of everybody.
so what if they raid the other places, but Negan likes Alexandria because he's moving into the suburbs, so to speak, from his own language. Um, and they don't quite get to burn Alexandria to the ground.
Well, and he clearly likes Alexandria because it's got a lot of accommodations that his compound
Running
doesn't
water, he's
have.
sitting there like
Yeah.
fascinated with it. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. I don't, you know, I think
You can't stay there forever,
I
right?
think
I
I
mean,
know what's
can you at least
possible, but
agree with that?
I think I know what's possible, but I think anything's possible. I don't think you can stay with Alexandria as the sole focus forever. I think one way or another the focus on Alexandria as the center of The Walking Dead is going to have to fade. I worry about them going back on the road again because I'll be honest, Big Trekkie totally lost interest in Voyager because they never stayed anywhere.
But see, that's the appeal of The Walking Dead is that you can stay safe. You're never safe. You have to keep moving, right?
I don't know. I don't know if I see our group that way anymore. I haven't thought about it seriously, Brian, and
Well, that's why a lot of them are going to die.
I don't see our group our group. Oh goodness. That would
Yeah.
that would be Negan's group.
If you can't see the growth, that's the best.
I don't see them as being like a roving band anymore. I see them as trying to make Alexandria work. But, in fairness to you, they also tried to make the prison work. They also, tried to make, God, where else were they camped out?
The farm,
The farm work. So,
the church.
yeah, I don't know.
Um,
Or do you
we
think that they will leave Alexandria as some kind of encampment that they can come back to, that it will be some sort of safe place ultimately, but they will go and continue their search for the larger world, whether it's the cure or more survivors or whatever that
That could
is.
be, but I think it's better if we just burn it. Just burn it.
It does have more impact. I will give
Yeah.
you that.
So, we covered that. We covered Vizita.
So I want to talk about Olivia because I brought her up on the Facebook page.
Yes.
It was just a little tiny moment, and I need to get the name of the person who I was kind of talking back and forth with. And sorry, now I'm going to fumble into Facebook land.
Do you want me to go over what he said to her?
Well, yeah, go ahead, because that was really funny.
So I thought it was hilarious, and I thought she was dead. I am waiting for Olivia to get clubbed. I am waiting for it to come at some point because she dodged it with the inventory.
Right.
And she just dodged it now. She just assaulted Negan, and that has consequences. That stuff cannot happen, according to Negan. So there's got to be consequences. At some point, you would think Olivia is on the hook at some point to get this. So,
Yeah.
she kind of goes through her thing, and Negan, again, shows that little bit of humility. I thought he was being nice, where he made that, "You're starving?" Well, and then she started bawling because she got made fun of, and then he's like, "Are you freaking kidding me? Like, what the hell's with this town? Bunch of wussies here. I'm sorry, da 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 da." And he's like, "Do you want to just basically just hook up until Rick gets back? You want to pound this out for a while?" And then she slapped him, and I was just like, "Oh, now she's dead. Now she's dead." And then being Negan, the total stink. I'm about 50% more into you right now. I kind of like that. It's just like hilarious. Hilarious.
I love that moment. And so I said on the buyer's page, how many of you really wish you were just Olivia for just a second? And Rosalinda Melendez, thank you, new name. It's nice to see you comment, Rosalinda. Said I can't see the episode until morning because I work all night, but I'm not scared of spoilers. So I'm like, WTF could make me want to be Olivia, and then I was like, no spoilers. Tell me what you think later. But I just think both that moment of kind of that illicit attraction to Negan and just the satisfaction of smacking him across the face, they captured the whole thing perfectly.
No, I thought it was really cool. Um, it was one of those things where it would have been funny if she would have been like, "Are you serious?" And then he's like, "What? No, get out of here. Gross." Like, that's what I was semi kind of waiting for, where she's like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" "Yes." "Oh my God." And he's like, "Fuck, no, get out of here.
No,
Gross, get."
I
Yeah.
like that. I'm 50% more into you right now. I think that's funny.
Yeah. So it was fun. I enjoyed that
And
that little
Thomas
scene. And
Reese
he's like,
and Cody Redbeard Stradley both agreed. They totally got that moment. Sorry, go
"Yeah,
ahead.
I like it." And he's like, "Go make me some lemonade. Make it good."
I know I left the good patterned stuff for you.
Yeah. So that was funny. It just had a really good feel and kind of vibe to it of like you think he's going to be nice again like he was with Carl,
Yeah.
and then he just totally pulls a dick move, and then
Yeah, no, it was awesome. So what
so
else? What else you got?
will Father Gabriel tell Rick of Spencer's plans? Why did he walk away?
Ah,
Why did he say, "You know what, just let me go. Just let me go. I'm out of here. I don't want to be with you anymore"? Is the whole confidentiality thing still alive in the apocalypse?
no, I think
Or
he would tell Rick.
go up to Rick and say, "Rick, I think we've got an issue here,
Yeah,
and here's what Spencer just said to me."
I totally see him doing that.
I think he's going to sit on it.
Do you? I mean, sitting
Yeah.
on it makes for more problems ultimately, right? Which, I mean,
Hmm.
what drives a drama but great conflict? But I could totally see him not holding on to it. I could totally see him going and telling Rick.
We shall see.
Yeah.
I'm just curious where he's going. Is he walking back to Alexandria, or was he just going to go do something on his own?
You know what? I don't know. The last time Father Gabriel was out beyond the gates by himself, he nearly died. So
But he's different now. He's
he,
killed a human.
that's right. He's
Um,
badass Father Gabriel now.
Yeah, the one thing, like, I was trying to read that damn note, and I'm like, what is this? Like, what is going on? Then they're
Yeah.
like Latin. I'm like, oh, thank God. I couldn't just, because I had to like pause and I was like advancing frames, and I'm just like, what is this crap? But why did he write it in Latin? I guess to hide the location if anybody found his note. I get it. But then he finds all this like perfectly good stuff, and it just,
Right.
I think I don't know if that's like legit, but does now Spencer have he has his own private stockpiles now?
Well, and Rosita even said that. She kind of was like, yeah, and what do you have hidden away for yourself?
Hmm.
So,
Which goes into, I'm setting Rick up.
well, which also goes into, oh no, if you're going to be part of the group and if you're going to follow the rules, you can't squirrel stuff away for yourself.
Hmm. So I think what that might be it. That might be where he tries to capture Rick and be like, when
Ah,
Negan shows up, he's like, Rick, why don't you tell him where those secret stashes are that you've been hiding? And he's like, what? And then Rosita's like, no, you son of a bitch. You lied. You found these secret stashes. You've had this. You were bringing it back. You set Rick up. And then he's like, oh, not cool.
yeah.
Maybe.
Spencer is definitely on a bad road.
Yes.
And I will enjoy seeing his brains drip from Lucille's barbs.
So everybody that comes through Des Moines on the Wizard World convention tour dies. Spencer was here last year.
Oh no!
So Beth was
And
here.
Beth was
Cudlitz was
there.
here.
Yeah.
And now Spencer was here. So is Spencer the next one done?
So we're just gonna have to send a general tweet out to all of the cast saying, "Don't go to Wizard Con."
Yeah. Do not go to Wizard World. They're bankrupt. And you're going to die.
Well, so in my writing potpourri, the other thing was I just loved all of the callbacks. There were so many good callbacks, starting with Michonne walking down the road, flanked by those two walkers.
I totally thought she was making herself some
Right.
pets.
It totally looked like she was going to make pets again. And I thought that was really great. And then, like, seeing the guy get his face ironed and knowing that happened to Dwight. Um,
Hmm.
Seeing Eugene and Rosita in the armory. And all I could see was Eugene and Abraham arguing the last time that they were in the armory together.
Yep.
So it was really kind of cool. And Jesus on top of that box van looked just like Rick on top of the RV at the beginning of the season.
Hmm.
So there were just some really, really neat, obviously calculated callbacks that I enjoyed. One of our listeners said, yes, those were the bee's knees. I think it was Thomas Reese. I'm not sure. I have to get to that. But
um, yeah, I did like just kind of the imagery of kind of what was happening with the episode. They did do a lot of framework. They did set a lot of things up just to kind of really showcase you. And when I seen those pets, I'm like, come on, Michonne, this is how she's going to infiltrate Negan's camp. She is going to use pets. She is going to the survival Michonne. I survived out here for 2 years on my own. Here's how I'm going to do it again.
do you really think she's thinking about leaving? Because she's got that attachment to Carl and Rick.
But she's so pissed that Rick
Yeah,
has
that he's
folded.
capitulating. But there,
Hmm.
and where is she going? Did you get where she was going at all? And why
Take me
was
to
she?
Negan.
I mean, that's kind of what I figured. Yeah, even before she was in the truck with that lady. But why was she also dragging the zombie? Was she trying to get other zombies to follow
Just a
her?
road stop. No, that was just a roadblock, so that truck would stop.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
then she came out of the woods.
Obviously, I wasn't watching as closely as I should have been at that point.
Yeah, she just set up a little roadblock so a truck would have to stop because she only knows the people who are driving are going to be Negan's people.
Right.
So she set it up there to then get one. And I thought it was funny. The girl driving that truck was like, "Psh, I'll show this lady who's boss." And then Michonne done busted her head open on that damn steering wheel. And it's like, and you could see Michonne just be like, "What, bitch? What? Did you honestly think this is how this was going to go? No, I am way harder than you think I am."
Okay, suspension of disbelief moment. I looked at her and I thought, where the hell did she get all that red hair dye in the zombie apocalypse?
Hey, she used points.
It was a bad dye job, man.
Funny though.
I found that. So it was Cody Redbeard Stradley who said, yeah, those comic callouts were the bee's knees. And then Rosalinda Mendez told us, nope, she doesn't want to be Olivia.
Why not?
I know, right?
Jeez. Um, so the other thing I had, the last little nugget that we never really covered, was sliding the key under the door of Daryl's cell.
Okay, who did that?
I think it was what's his face's wife.
I think so too. Shelley. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's who it was. I don't think it was anybody else. She is one of the very few people who have free walking.
I was going to say she's kind of demonstrated that she's the lead wife.
Hmm.
And she also, she and Dwight regularly meet up. That is obviously not an occasional
Approved.
thing
Yeah.
or approved. Yeah, I agree. I think it was her. And I think you're right. She's someone who has, for whatever reason, earned privileges that maybe she shouldn't have.
Yeah, I think so. That's the one downfall of Negan that I see. Like he's kissing her and Dwight standing there,
Right.
and he just kind of looks at Dwight and just kind of laughs.
Well, he
Like,
thinks he's totally invincible, and so far he has been.
yeah, for however long he's been at this, we
Yeah.
don't know how long before, but we would assume pretty much from the end. So that's something that we have to look at. But I think he's done just fine with being that because if you make a move to somebody else, then there's 150 other people that are gonna come kill you
Right.
because you don't talk like that to Negan. I'm gonna go turn you in, just so I don't get killed because I already know about your plan. If I know about your plan, I'm gonna get killed and I'm not even a part of it.
I would rather be protected by Negan than get killed because I'm part of your plan.
Right. Because what are the odds? which they would have to be like, hey, are we tired of this Negan crap? Yeah, okay, let's all just kill him then. Stop this. What are we doing? I do think Daryl got a little bit of acknowledgement and respect for Dwight after seeing the iron scene.
Yes.
Seeing what it was this big scarlet letter type deal. It's this big humiliation ceremony and spectacle, and here's how it goes. And I think he really had that realization, like, oh, this is what Dwight did to come back here and everything he's going through his wife. So, like, they have a plan.
And I do think that we are seeing that Dwight is getting pushed and pushed and pushed. Maybe it was Dwight who gave him the key.
Could have been. That's definitely something we don't know. I think it's all in cahoots. I think we'll kind of get some flashbacks to Dwight and Daryl kind of being pally when they get ready to hatch their plan.
I think we may be seeing an alliance happening there too. I agree.
At some point, I don't think it was Jesus that slid the key under there. He would have had no way to know where Daryl was at this point. But we know he's in the compound, so he's in there somewhere running around.
My first thought was Shelley. My second thought was Dwight. So yeah, I think it's one of those two.
It could be anybody though. It could be anybody for all we know. It could be the bread making lady.
Though? Yeah. Maybe it's Amber. Maybe she decided that she wasn't interested in Mark and she just wants to go with Daryl. Go now, and I'll come with you.
So the other kind of part is just, now I lost my train of thought. What do you got?
Sorry. I'm kind of done actually. I don't really have anything else for Rotting Potpourri.
Yeah, screw it then. I'll think of it later.
Well, write it down and save it for next time, man, because it's going to be you and Thomas Reese, boys versus girls.
Yeah, boyo. So, season finale, boys versus girls, me and Tom, and Marnell and Diane. So, stay tuned. Double dose episode for you guys, and rock and roll. All
right, so
let's take it one dead day at a time.
Hey, we almost got it.
Almost. Good enough.
All right, man. Take care.
See you. Bye.
Okay, bye.